Ever had that sinking feeling? You turn the key, and instead of a roar, you get a click, a cough, or just dead silence. Your trusty tractor, the backbone of your operation, is down for the count. It's a frustrating and costly problem. Today, we're diving deep into the heart of the machine, exploring some of the most common tractor engine failures across various models. We'll look at why they happen and what you can do about it. Stick around, because this could save you a ton of time and money. Let's start with a classic issue that plagues many older models, especially those workhorses from the 70s and 80s. Overheating. You might see this in a Ford 4000 or a Massey Ferguson 165. These engines were built to last, but decades of hard work take their toll. The number one culprit for overheating is often a clogged radiator. Dust, chaff, and debris get packed into the cooling fins, blocking airflow. Another cause is a failing water pump. The impeller can corrode, or the bearings can wear out, preventing coolant from circulating effectively. Don't forget the thermostat, either. If it gets stuck closed, your engine will heat up in a hurry. Regular maintenance is key here. Blow out your radiator with compressed air daily. Check your coolant levels, and listen for any strange noises from the water pump. Moving on to more modern tractors, let's talk about fuel system problems, specifically in common rail diesel engines. You'll find these in many John Deere 6R Series or Case IH Puma models. These systems operate under incredibly high pressure, and they are very sensitive to contamination. Water in your fuel is the biggest enemy. It can cause corrosion in the high-pressure fuel pump and injectors, leading to catastrophic failure. A tiny speck of dirt can also clog an injector nozzle, causing poor performance, excessive smoke, and even engine damage. The best defense: high-quality fuel from a reliable source and diligent filter changes. Always use the manufacturer-recommended fuel filters and stick to the service interval. Draining your water separator daily is also a non-negotiable habit to get into. Now let's discuss a problem that can be a real headache: electrical ground. In today's tractors, like a New Holland T7 or a Fendt 700 the engine is controlled by a complex web of sensors, wires, and control units. A single faulty sensor can put the entire tractor into limp mode, or prevent it from starting at all. The crankshaft position sensor is a common point of failure. If this sensor can't tell the engine control unit, or ECU, that the engine is turning, you won't get fuel or spark. Another frequent issue is corrosion in wiring harnesses and connectors, especially on tractors that work in wet or corrosive environments, like spreading manure. A simple bad ground connection can cause all sorts of bizarre and hard-to-diagnose symptoms. When you're dealing with electrical issues, a good multimeter and a wiring diagram are your best friends. Check your battery terminals and ground connections first. You'd be surprised how often the solution is that simple. Let's shift gears and talk about turbo failure. Is a serious and expensive problem, common across many brands, from Kubota M Series to Claas Orion tractors. The turbo spins at incredibly high speeds, sometimes over 100,000 RPM, and it relies on a constant supply of clean engine oil for lubrication and cooling. The main causes of turbo failure are oil starvation and oil contamination. If your oil level is low, or if you don't allow the engine to idle for a minute before shutting it down, the turbo can be starved of oil while it's still spinning, cooking the bearings. This is called coking. Debris in the oil can also score the delicate bearings. Another cause is foreign object damage. If a piece of a disintegrating air filter or a loose nut gets sucked into the compressor side, it will destroy the fins instantly. Always use high-quality oil and filters, and let your engine cool down properly before shutdown. Another major engine issue, especially in high-R machinas, is loss of compression. This can happen for a few reasons. Worn piston rings are a primary cause. Over time, the rings wear down and no longer form a tight seal against the cylinder wall. This allows combustion gases to blow past the piston into the crankcase, a phenomenon known as blow. You'll notice this as a loss of power, increased oil consumption, and smoke coming from the crankcase breather. Another cause of low compression is worn or burnt valves. If a valve doesn't seal properly against its seat in the cylinder head, compression will leak out. This can be caused by carbon buildup or simple wear and tear. Finally, a blown head gasket is a very common reason for compression loss. The gasket seals the space between the cylinder head and the engine block. If it fails, Compression can leak between cylinders or into the cooling system. You might see bubbles in your radiator or a milky-looking substance in your oil. A compression test is the definitive way to diagnose this. Let's not forget about starting issues in cold weather. This is a big one for anyone farming in colder climates. The problem is often related to the glow plug system. In diesel engines, glow plugs are small heaters in each cylinder that warm up the combustion chamber to help the fuel ignite when the engine is cold. If one or more glow plugs are burned out, the engine will be very difficult to start, run rough, and produce a lot of white smoke until it warms up. On a tractor like a Deutz-Fahr Agritron, you can test the glow plugs with a multimeter to see if they have proper resistance. Another cold start culprit is a weak battery or slow cranking speed. Diesel engines rely on the heat generated by compression to ignite the fuel, and if the engine isn't turning over fast enough, it won't build enough heat. Always make sure your batteries are fully charged and your starter is in good shape. Using a block heater is also a huge help. Now, a more modern and tricky issue. Exhaust gas recirculation, or EGR system failures. EGR systems are designed to reduce emissions by recirculating some of the exhaust gas back into the engine intake. You'll find these on almost all Tier 4 tractors. The problem is, this exhaust gas contains soot. Over time, this soot can build up and clog the EGR valve, causing it to stick open or closed. If it sticks open, it's constantly feeding exhaust gas into the engine, leading to a rough idle, poor performance, and stalling. If it sticks closed, your tractor's computer will likely detect the fault and throw a check engine light, possibly putting the tractor into a derated power mode. The EGR cooler can also get clogged with soot, which restricts flow and can cause overheating issues. Regular maintenance and using the correct low-ash engine oil can help prolong the life of these components. But for many, EGR issues are an unfortunate reality of modern diesel engines. Let's go back to the basics and discuss the lubrication system. An engine without oil is just a big, expensive metal sculpture. A sudden loss of oil pressure is one of the most terrifying things that can happen while you're reoperating your machine. The cause can be as simple as a failed oil pressure sensor giving a false reading, or as catastrophic as a failed oil pump. The oil pump is the heart of the engine's lubrication system, and if it goes a complete engine seizure is just moments away. Another cause for low oil pressure, especially on older, higher engines, is excessive bearing clearance. As the main and rod bearings wear, the gap between the bearing and the crankshaft journal increases. Oil can escape from this gap more easily, leading to a drop in overall pressure, especially when the oil is hot and thin. If your oil pressure light ever flickers or comes on, shut the engine off immediately. It's not worth the risk. Investigate the cause before you even think about starting it again. Finally, let's talk about a silent killer. Vibration. An unusual vibration that changes with engine speed can be a sign of a serious internal problem. It could be a failing harmonic balancer on the front of the crankshaft. The balancer, or crankshaft damper, is designed to absorb the torsional vibrations of the engine. If the rubber element inside deteriorates, the balancer can stop working or even come apart, leading to a broken crankshaft. A vibration could also indicate a problem with the flywheel or clutch assembly. An out-of-balance component spinning at thousands of RPM can cause significant damage. Sometimes, a simple engine misfire can feel like a vibration. But if you're feeling a new, deep shudder through the frame of your tractor, it's time to park it and investigate. Ignoring a vibration is a surefire way to turn a small problem into a complete disaster. So there you have it. A rundown of some of the most common and critical engine failures you might encounter in your tractor. From overheating and fuel contamination to electrical faults and turbo issues, the key takeaway is always the same. Proactive maintenance is your best line of defense. Pay attention to your machine. Listen to the sounds it makes. Watch your gauges. Address small problems before they become big ones. Changing filters and fluids is a lot cheaper than changing an engine. Thanks for watching, and we hope this helps you keep your equipment running strong. Do not forget to like and subscribe for more tips to keep you in the field and out of the shop.